Hello everyone, today we are talking about the Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon. And the reason we are talking about it is because we got some casting news that will tell us where in the Targaryen history the show will start from. So for those who don't know, House of the Dragon is based on George R.R. Martin's book, Fire and Blood, which is a history of the Targaryens in Westeros. Their first major casting has been announced. Paddy Considine has been cast as King Viserys Targaryen. Paddy Considine is in some of my favorite movies like Hot Fuzz and The World's End. HBO had this on their site. Viserys was chosen by the Lords of Westeros to succeed the old King Jaehaerys Targaryen at the Great Council at Harrenhal. A warm, kind, and decent man, Viserys only wishes to carry forward his grandfather's legacy. But as we have learned from Game of Thrones, good men do not necessarily make for great kings. From this and the very detailed history that is available to us, we know the show will be taking place around the Dance of the Dragons, the Targaryen Civil War. So most people thought the show would be about Aegon's conquest. I believe the reason why they chose not to do this is because it would have been too similar to what Daenerys did in Season 7. Now don't get me wrong, there would have been awesome moments in that too. Baratheon versus the Storm King Argilac the Arrogant, the burning of Harrenhal, the Field of Fire where House Targaryen was destroyed and the Lannisters were defeated, but the Field of Fire would have looked very similar to what Dany did to the Lannister army during the Loot Train battle scene. And from what I've read from HBO, they don't want to do similar things in their Song of Ice and Fire universe. That's why the Blood Moon prequel about the origin of the White Walkers was canned, because they thought it was too similar to Game of Thrones in some ways. Also, starting with the Targaryen Civil War is epic. From what I've read, it's going to be amazing, especially getting to see full-size dragons fighting one another. It is going to be awesome. I think another reason why they decided to start with this is because there is so many fantasy shows coming out. From The Witcher to Lord of the Rings and the Wheel of Time series Amazon is making, they need to cut through the noise. And nothing does that better than having two full-size dragons fighting one another. Here's a pic of Balerion the Black Dread compared to Drogon to emphasize that point. Unfortunately, Balerion won't be in the prequel. He died in 94 AC. But hopefully this gives you an idea how much bigger the dragons are going to be. This is a quote from Shireen Baratheon about the Dance of the Dragons. Both of them thought they belonged on the Iron Throne. When people started declaring for one of them or the other, their fight divided the kingdoms in two. Brothers fought brothers, dragons fought dragons. By the time it was over, thousands were dead, and it was a disaster for the Targaryens as well. They never truly recovered. So maybe season 1 spoilers ahead depending on when they start the show. I'm going to give you a basic idea of what led to the Targaryen Civil War. So the Dance of the Dragons does not begin until Viserys Targaryen dies. Viserys' first wife was Aemma Arryn. Aemma had many miscarriages and was only able to give Viserys one child, a girl named Rhaenyra. Aemma would later die giving childbirth. After her death, Viserys would then marry Alicent Hightower. She bore him two sons, Aegon and Aemond, and a daughter named Helaena. Even though Alicent gave Viserys a son, he refused to make him the heir to the throne. His first child, Rhaenyra, will sit on the Iron Throne, as Viserys wanted. This made Alicent very angry. So when Viserys did die, which he died in his sleep, Alicent learned of it first and proclaimed Aegon the king, ignoring her late husband's wishes. Rhaenyra was on Dragonstone at the time when she learned of her father's death. She had a ceremony crowning herself as queen, and the Dance of the Dragons had begun. The court of King's Landing was split on this as well. Some wanted to honor Viserys' wish to make Rhaenyra queen, but some wanted Aegon to rule because the tradition of succession at the time was the eldest boy took over even if there was an older daughter. So I believe the show will have Viserys' death in the first season, around episode 9, I would say. They are going to want to establish the conflict that is happening between him and Alicent about the succession and the dynamic between himself and his children. They are also going to want to establish the small council and the ones for and against Rhaenyra getting the throne. So the first season is going to set the stage for the Targaryen Civil War. So I think we're going to get a lot of scenes reminiscent to when Tyrion and Tywin would go back and forth in the Tower of the Hand, which I am immensely looking forward to. I can't wait for this. It's been too long. I want to go back to the world of Westeros. So what do you guys think of the prequel? Will it be good? Or will my hopes be crushed? Leave it down in the comments below, and if you want more Game of Thrones content, please subscribe and check out the Twitter. Link in the description below, and as always, have an awesome day.